Thank you for stopping by Shaping Your World with Shah. I'm Shah, and I want to send a warm welcome or welcome back to all of you who show up week after week for this series on What I Wore Last Week Fragrance Edition. I'm so thankful that you all are here. Make sure you're subscribed. Don't forget to hit that like button, and let's jump right into the video. So jumping right in, on Monday, I wore Dare by Brown Girl Jane. And I've talked about Dare with respect to the fact that it's a wonderful way to wear leather. Although this is predominantly billed as a cherry fragrance, to me on my skin, that leather is what comes through most dominantly. And I really enjoy it in this fragrance because it's a nice, softer, gentler type of leather that's not too masculine. That cherry really gives it a nice feminine lean, and so that is why I chose it as my fragrance of the day on Monday. So on Tuesday, I kept up with that cherry vibe. I wore Wet Cherry Liquor by Boho Boko Perfume. This is the only fragrance that I own by this particular brand. And I'm not that familiar with the brand. I'd like to sample some other fragrances from the brand, but this is a sample that I have that I had received as one of my monthly subscription fragrances from Scentbird. And just like the name denotes, it's a nice wet cherry liqueur. It definitely gives dripping cherries. If you've ever had like chocolate covered cherries and that juice that's in the chocolate covered cherry, it's like a cherry cordial liquor. It gives that vibe. It's a really nice, sweet fragrance. It's also very sexy, but even though it leans a little sexy, it's still definitely work appropriate in my personal opinion. Definitely let me know in the comments below if this is a fragrance that you own or wear and what you think about it. As you all know, I'm not the biggest fan of cherry fragrances in general. Do like this particular cherry. I like the way it's done. Again, it's probably that the liqueur vibe of the fragrance that helps me to really enjoy the cherry component, because it's not like full on cherry. It's got a nice balance, and it's also got subtle hints of strawberry and sandalwood. I do love a nice sandalwood note. Also, vetiver and tonka bean and vanilla round it out, making it a really easy wear as far as a cherry fragrance is concerned for my own personal taste. So moving right along, on Wednesday, I did a combo, and I did a combo of Dear Polly and Tay Matcha 26. Dear Polly being from Wilhelm Parfumery and Tay Matcha 26 by Le Labo. Now, I never have talked about any Le Labo fragrances on my channel before, simply because at this present time, I only have a sample, like a discovery set. And in that set, Tay Matcha 26 was one of the fragrances. I'm not a big fan of it at all. And so what I always try to do is when I do wear it, I try to layer it with something else because I'm always hoping that one day I'm going to strike that right balance. Well, Wednesday was not that day. I mixed it with Dear Polly because they both have the tea notes. Although very different. Te matcha obviously is a matcha tea note, whereas Dear Polly is it's a different kind of tea, not a green tea, but more of a black tea, the Ceylon black tea to be specific. And they didn't really vibe that well, in my opinion. Thankfully, the Dear Polly was the more predominant fragrance that day, so I was able to enjoy it without being too disappointed. But definitely, I would not recommend that as a combo. But just wanted to share that in case it was something you may have thought of as well. In my opinion, they don't really vibe that well together. But that was my layered fragrance of the day on Wednesday. So moving on to Thursday, I stayed on with layering, and this time I layered two fragrances that have vanilla as their base. That being Westside by Bond Number 9 and Vanilla 28 by Kayali. And that was definitely a winner. I really love Westside. Well, I love both of them, by themselves. To me, they're great fragrances. They're really strong players that work really well by themselves, but together they did an awesome job. And that added note of notes of rose, ylang ylang, and peony in the West Side really kind of gave the layered combo a nice effect. Um, and I loved it very much. Of course, Vanilla 28 stands strong with that brown sugar. Um, Wonderful, wonderful fragrances. And in my opinion, they layered really well together, and I really enjoyed wearing them. I'll definitely layer them together again because that was a winner. So this was a short fragrance week for me. Unfortunately, when I woke up on Friday, I was really under the weather. And so I just was having a combination of runny nose and stuffy nose. So I didn't wear any fragrance at all because I couldn't smell anything anyway. And stayed in the entire weekend just getting rest so that I could be back to optimal health this week. So thankfully, I am feeling a lot better, but that's why you haven't seen me on camera the last two videos. And I do hope to be back on camera when I do my video this weekend. So this rounds up my what I wore last week, fragrance edition. Let me know in the comments what you wore last week. And if you're not interested in sharing your entire week in fragrances, do let me know what is your fragrance of the day. Until next time, peace.